y'all, it's Betsy, and I just received in my Natasha Denona Glam palette. I pre-ordered this whenever they on release day, and I just received it, and I think today is actually release day for this palette. I ordered it from natashadenona.com. This palette retails for $65. I was super excited to order this because I am a lover of Natasha Denona shadows. I have all of her mini palettes that are this size. So I have the Sunrise, the Love, the Bronze, and I have several of her big palettes too. It's just one of my favorite formulas. So I was excited to pick this up because it is a neutral palette, but it is a very cool tone, and I love some good grungy cool tones, and I was excited to play with this. So this is what the outside unicarton looks like. It tells you all the ingredients with the shadows, shelf life, and all the shadow names on it. And then when you open her up, it looks like this. I've already got some fingerprints on it. It's a problem with shiny packaging, but it is just like a cool silver packaging. And then when you open it up, the shadows look like this. And there are a couple of shades to me that lean a little warm, such as the blend shade and the smoke shade, but most of them are very, very much cool toned. So we'll start off just like we always do by swatching, because, you know, we want to see what we're getting. Let me grab a makeup wipe. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the first row, left to right. So we're gonna start with center eyelid, outer eyelid, inner corner, and crease. So that's what they look like. So we've got, I wish these had names instead of places, but you know, that is, yeah, that's pretty. Inner eye, or center eyelid, outer eyelid, inner corner, crease. Okay. Next up we have transition, smoke, blend, and lash line. So there are only 5 shades that are mattes, the rest are metallics. So we've got transition, smoke, blend, and lower lash line. Okay. Next up we have inner corner, center eyelid, outer eyelid. So more metallics, we'll swatch those over here. So we have center eyelid, outer eyelid, center eyelid, and outer eyelid. Very pretty. Now these aren't the super metallic-y Natasha Denona shadows I'm used to. And then we have center eyelid, outer eyelid, and brow bone. So center eyelid, outer eyelid, and brow bone. So as you can see, it is an extremely neutral palette. I mean, if you love cool tone neutrals, you might like this. I love a good cool tone look, so we're gonna see, because you know, I'm an 80s baby, but I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 83, so you know, the 90s was my heyday. And with that being said, we did lots of cool tones. Silver jewelry, black smudgy eye looks, you know how it is. I remember being a kid, and this is gonna age me, but Melissa Joan Hart was someone that we looked up to. And she was talking about how she got her eyeliner to be smudgy, is she would take and put her eyeliner on before bed and then go to sleep, and that's how she made it look so like smudgy and sexy, which I think smudgy eyeliner is sexy. So we're gonna start off just like I normally do, eye tape, because this is what works for my eye shape. This does not mean this is what works for your eye shape. So you do you don't have to follow me. This is to test out the product. I mean, I'll give you instructions on what I'm doing, but you do not have to do the same thing that I am. So I think we're gonna start off, this is the BK Beauty 201, and I'm going to go into the shade that they say is a transition shade. I think this is gonna be too light on my skin tone. So to me, the transition shade will be an all over, like, set my eyeshadow primer. And the eyeshadow primer I'm using is the Pretty Vulgar. I've been using that one for a while. I like an eyeshadow primer that has color to it, but it's hard to find one that's right for my skin tone, which doesn't make it look too ashy. Okay, so that looks very, very pretty. It looks like, the best way to describe this grayish color is it's the farmhouse chic gray that everybody has in their house when they're obsessed with, like, Magnolia Manor and Chip and Joanne Gaines, that type of thing. That is definitely what it's screaming to me. Now I'm gonna go into the crease shade, which is just a tad bit darker. And we're gonna smoke that, well, not really smoke it, but use that as a crease shade all the way through. But I do want to keep this look very, very, very cool tone because, you know, I'm reliving my heyday now that I know how to do makeup. Because whenever I was a kid, I had no idea what I was doing. One of the things we did in the early 2000s, because, you know, I was still a teenager in the early 2000s, is my friends, now I didn't do this because, one, I've never been able to do like eyeliner above my lash line because I'm blind in one eye, but would use like a thick white eyeliner. And that was supposed to be like the coolest thing ever. And now I look back and I'm like, that did nothing to improve anybody's look. But, you know, it is what it is. But this shade is building up nicely. This is beautiful. And so far the shadows are performing just like all of my other Natasha Denona shadows. I mean, it's blending like a dream. And it is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna go into, where's that other BK Beauty brush? I'm really loving these BK Beauty brushes too. Hashtag not sponsored. I pay for all this stuff myself. I always do. But like the shape of this one, this is the 204. If you look, it is extremely short and dense. I'm gonna use this into the shade Lash Line because what I'm wanting to do is not that. Is not touch my outside of that spot, but we'll just take our brush and reblend that out because I barely touched it. But I want to intensify the grays without it, and that's one thing I do like about this is it is gray. It is not black. It is like a true deep gray. And I'm just putting that in the socket. And I'm only bringing that about halfway in. And I'm almost using it to create a little bit of graphic eyeliner look, but not because, you know, that is not me. But just keeping it solely in the crease. But man, oh man. And that's part of the reason why I use the eye tapes too, is they just really help make things crisp, because I like the blown out look like on my lid and stuff, but I don't want the blown out look. I love a good crisp line. To me, it really helps elongate. And I'm just taking that same 201 brush and just lightly going over the outer edge of the lash line shade. Say that 3 times fast. It is outrageous. And just using that to soften up the edges. And then I'm going to take and go back into that lash line shade and just make sure everything is deep. You see what I'm saying? But not. That probably makes no sense. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my flat brushes. This is the Cuvage. This is just a flat brush. We're gonna add a little bit of lash glue, or not lash glue, glitter glue. Because anytime I use like a really metallic-y shadow, this is one thing I do like to do. And we're gonna kind of create a faux cut crease. Because for myself personally, I don't like anything that's super harsh. But I think for the outer crease, I'm gonna go into the outer eyelid shade, this darker gray, which looks like this. It matches what I put almost on the outer V, but a little bit more metallic and a little bit, well, it's more metallic because it's a metallic. The other one was a matte, but it's a tad bit lighter. So I'm gonna bring that in just about halfway. Now I think I'm gonna go into the center eyelid shade right here, which is just like a silver, but it's not a really impactful silver. So the one thing I can say about this palette for sure is the metallics are not her super sparkly metallics. Not in the least little bit. They're still metallic and they are opaque, but they're not the metallics like the super sparkles that you see in like the gold palette, or well, really any of her palettes. I mean, this just screams 90s glam to me. Like this is like the old school Pam Anderson kind of shades. So I'm gonna take that same 204 brush, is that what I'm, yes, the 204, and I'm just gonna dip back into lash line and just make sure everything is nice and dark enough, because as I said, you know, this is going after my goth girl heart. Take my blender brush one more time, the 201 by BK Beauty. And if you're interested in new brushes, I would definitely recommend looking into them. These have been really, really good. So that's what it looks like. Go ahead and remove the eye tapes. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go off camera, put the rest of my face on, and then we'll be back and we will do our lower lash line. So I'm back, I have on the rest of my face. I did use the Melt Queen Bee blush again, but today I just used the darker, the queen side, and I didn't put on a bronzer, and I think it looks much better this way. Because it almost looked a little ashy whenever I had bronzer on with it, but I still think it's beautiful. And then I used the Shared Planet, the White Sands highlighter right there. Absolutely gorgeous. And then on my lips, I used the Pat McGrath Dark Romance Balm. It gives me that vampy vibe. And I just used my Pat McGrath Perma Gel eyeliner and Extreme Black in my waterline because, again, I want that vampiness. So I'm gonna use the same 204 brush that I used before with the lash line shade, that deeper gray. And we're gonna just take and use that to kind of smudge out the black. You see how much of a difference, or at least it does to me, how it makes that much sexier and smokier. I am a girl who loves a good smoky eye. Like that is one of my favorites. I'm gonna use the 207 BK Beauty brush, and I'm gonna go back into the crease color right here, and I'm just gonna use that right under the lash line color and really kind of soften that up and smudge it out. Okay. Now that I have it applied, I'm going to take my bigger 201 brush and hold it very low. And just blend. Now, one thing I'll tell you is you don't have to have the same kind of brushes that I use. Part of whenever I'm talking about brushes and stuff like that, it is more for shape. Like this style of big fluffy crease brush is one of my favorites. Like I think this is just one of the easiest size brushes to work with, and I just love it. So now I'm gonna take and just wipe off that pencil brush that I used. And then I'm gonna go into the inner corner silver right here. And we're gonna apply a little bit of that in our inner corner. Okay, so this is definitely giving me kind of like goth Halloween vibes. I'm really loving this look. Again, this is one of those things where, you know, y'all have seen me, I'll do happy, bright looks, but these sexy kind of vampy looks are some of my favorites. So what do you think? Apply some more mascara. And this is just the Essence Lash Princess Sculpted Volume Mascara. I think this is the false lash one. I really like using this, and it's so inexpensive. The Lash Princess is an amazing mascara. And I'm trying to use up products before I keep opening more. So that is the final look. So, wipe that off. I hate fingerprints on palettes, but you know, it is what it is. So, if you like this look, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know what kind of products you're wanting to see next. I think tomorrow we're gonna do a video over the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette, or pumpkin palette. I'm not sure if it's pumpkin spice. But yeah, I completely just lost all train of thought. But don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I normally post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but because there has been such an influx of new releases that have interested me, we are posting a whole lot more. So, check me out on all my social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. But I guess that's it, so we shall see y'all tomorrow. Bye.